Hello, good children of Fraser Nation. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a different type of content on this game called Rise of Nations. Uh, you see, I have a couple buddies who are getting into this game, and well, there's guides on YouTube, but a lot of people have short attention spans, and I decided to take it upon myself to make a nice, concise, little non-comprehensive guide. So, and then I decided to just make it into a video so that anyone that wants to check it out can get help too. So, I'm already in the server. You wouldn't normally be like this. There's normally a 30-second cooldown where you can't choose a country. But the first thing you want to do before you do any of that is type in this bar, whatever country you want to be. For the purposes of this guide, I will be Portugal. You just want to make sure it's copied. Go ahead, paste it, make sure it's right. That's all you gotta do. Just have it ready. As soon as that timer goes down, you want to have your mouse hovering around here. You get Portugal or whatever country. So every country starts off with 100 million balance, and what you want to do, I guess it depends on your playstyle where you are. Since I am in Europe, uh, there's a lot of other threats, but I'm in a private server, so today I'll only be going with the factory setup of two electronic factories, one steel and one motor. The easiest way for me to do this, you just go to your city overview, press select on your top two cities, select buildings, electronics, and then you do the same thing. The third city, steel, fourth city, motor parts. With this factory setup, you will be making money and you will be able to create tanks. It is important to note though that your factory setup will vary a lot depending on where you're choosing to play and obviously what time if you join late. So as I'm playing in Europe, Spain is obviously going to be a threat to me, and then other European countries as I expand. The game looks kind of chopped right now. I don't know why. Private servers just take a long time to load. I don't really know specifically why, but so with that, you building your factories, they do take time to build, but you can see here. Oh, I also wanted to note that before you do, basically when you join the server, try to just as quickly as possible after building your factories, advance research bureau, and do your technology of going into research. You usually want to buy your resources before the factories are built, just like this in this buy menu. It depends. Some countries will be able to already supply factories off rip, but some of them won't. Which is why I chose Brazil, or not Brazil, Portugal. I feel like it's just a good country to demonstrate. So having buildings, factories on your square cities will automatically give you $250,000. So that's why you see that I get money from that. And generally, you want to be quick about this, but since I'm in a private server, it really doesn't matter. But you want to be waiting on those electronic factories to come in to just trade them right away. Most countries can buy five. Five is the max that you can sell now because they nerfed it pretty hard. But you want to just sell five to as many nations as you can. Not all countries can buy five though, which is very important to note. About Hong Kong, I would say probably everything past. Not all these can, by the way. Sudan, Angola. Probably after the point of Afghanistan, nothing down here except for a couple like Venezuela and Malaysia. But you'll get the hang of it as you play. But you want to sell as many electronics as you can in the early game to get your economy nice and flowing. Now, I'm not doing this at the speed that you would in a normal game. I'm trying to take it slow so you guys can see everything going on. After you have your electronics and your steel motor, you want to buy your resources. Obviously, don't do what I'm doing right now. You want to buy them before they're built, or else you're gonna get swept. You always want to go ahead and buy the resources you need. Sometimes, if you don't have a single unit of it, it just appears as red, so you don't even know you're missing it. But you just want to go click on the factories and see what they need. This one needs steel, iron, or not titanium, tungsten as well. Tungsten is a very valuable resource. extremely valuable. It's very rare. And recently, phosphate as well, because there's a new meta in creating fertilizer factories for the same purpose as electronics. So once you have your little electronics going up, your economy, some countries with low populations have very low spending laws. Very low. I think it's very important to get your government spending, research, and military. These three are your cores, the most important ones. Government spending will just keep you alive, but its most important thing is the political power gain. This will allow you to get more policies, more leaders, and in a minute I'll go over what they do. But you can go ahead and check your spending. Portugal is a pretty small country, so it's not very expensive. But you can also just go into your economic laws. See, education spending is a good one too. It gives you more research. Research is basically the core of this game. You need research. So always be checking in on your research tab. It's pretty easy. Just check in, get a hold of how long it takes. Because once you can get quantum computing, that's when the game really starts taking off for you. So it's very important to just get on top of that. So another thing you want to do at the start of the game, military leaders. At the start of every single game, after you build your factories, get advanced research bureau, go to your military, go to military leaders, recruit new leader, and look at these guys. So you might be tempted to see this, oh, winter attack, winter movement, oh, look at that, that's cool. While these are pretty good doctrines in the given situations, you want to pick more generals. Um, like you can see these guys' stats. This guy has more movement, but worse stats across the board. So I will be picking this guy. And then you want to make sure that you put your troops. Oh my bad. Go to your military leaders. Press the one you need to assign, and then whatever you want to call your group. And then you can assign those troops to that. And also, if you want to select multiple cities, you hold control and then drag it over just like that. Whenever you go to units, you have this option right here to assign them to a specific group. Ground is your infantry and tanks. I would do this as quickly as possible, which is really easy. So then, after you've kind of gotten those three things, your factories, your policies, and your technology and military leader, go ahead and go to your doctrines, land, static lines, military planning. Or, oh, greater support. Oh, at the very start of the game, you want to go with greater support, and then fortifications act. That was my mistake. But you want to go down this left lane. This will make you a lot stronger. Stalwart defense is the best doctrine in the game by far. Uh, not gonna argue it. It's just the best. Maneuver warfare. Some people like this, but offense isn't really good in this game after a certain year. At the very beginning of the game, you want to use tanks. Tanks are just superior. But as the game progresses, infantry just outshines. So my economy will plummet a little bit because my military spending is so high. The tanks will be very expensive. So after you get a little more money from the electronics, I would recommend you build fertilizer factories and then civilian goods. Civilian goods are really consumer goods, my bad. Consumer goods are very good in this game. They are the method of getting the most money possible as fast as possible. They work differently from electronics, whereas you aren't limited by a number like five. You're limited by how many consumer goods a country is in deficit of, which I will demonstrate soon. Let me just cancel that real quick. So after this factory is up, I'll show you guys. You also, after you got a little more political power, you can either wait to go into nationalism, which is a very good ideology, or socialism is recommended if you have a lot of resources of your country, like Kazakhstan, Russia, and China. Well, China is already socialist, but yeah, you get the point. But you can also go to your leaders tab. Leaders are very useful. These you want to go in after you start getting your government spending. I recommend looking into leaders and recruiting someone. You don't want to just recruit all willy nilly. You don't have to. You never need to, but there is some that are useful. The general of the army, ground attack, land doctrine cost. So this guy, he's okay. Since we don't have a general of the army, we're gonna pick them up. But you always gonna check on these. They update yearly, I think. Some of them are just you have like geologist. Where is he? I don't know, but they give you more resource output. Some of them give you more taxes, and the really good one is the head of research, which gives you more research. And here you can see I'm in deficit at 500K. That is not good, but our civilian factories are up and running. Here I will show you the very overpowered strategy of selling consumer goods. Now, this isn't always going to work. Obviously, if there's other people in the server selling consumer goods, it's not really going to be too helpful, but I'm in a private server right now, so the sky's the limit, really. The best countries to sell consumer goods to are going to be these five: Japan, Brazil, India, the United States, and China. They can all buy many consumer goods, enough to basically support your entire country if you're playing something like this. So, Japan has a very strong economy. It can sell and it can buy its entire amount needed. You can only sell a country how much it's deficit of. So you can't sell more than 92 units to Japan right now. I also wanted to say, um, when you press sell, this is every 5 days you are selling this many. When you press sell bulk, that's all at once. You're selling 90. Same thing for buying. You know, if you're gonna buy 90 every day or every 5 days, you just press buy. If you want to buy them all at once, you press buy bulk. Sometimes it's better to buy in bulk for things like aircraft parts, as you don't really need a steady supply of these. You can kind of just get a unit of them and then develop your army from there. So now that you have your tanks, this is pretty early. You get tanks in a couple of months. So you know, getting them in at the end of 2020 is not really a good idea. And if you ever see anything like, oh, well, these little inboxes right here that appear, some of them are good, some of them are really bad, some of them are okay. If you ever see them, you can click on them to open them up, but you don't have to accept or decline them because sometimes they're just only negative. But yeah, after you have your little units, and as you see, selling consumer goods, my economy, well, you can see right here, trade is about like 90% of it. After you get that, you can put more money into your others. Security and healthcare are good. They're not necessary, but if you do find yourself in a long war, security spending is really good at not collapsing your nation. So it's one of those policies. But if you can get education, I would recommend it. After you get research, they just make things work a lot better. And another technique is splitting your units. So in order to, split your units, you can press split in half, which makes it into two, and then so on. But there's a much better way, and that is by pressing form line. So if you just press form line like that, nothing will happen. But if you hold shift on your keyboard and press somewhere, anywhere really, you can now press form line. Another technique is you don't have to stop just there. You can make multiple lines. By holding shift continuously, you can make the line however shape you want. I only have 1,200 here, so this line won't be it won't be able to be created. I don't have enough tanks for that. But with that same technique, if you just spam click while holding shift, all of your units get split. And you may be wondering, why are you doing this? How does splitting your units help you? Well, splitting your units actually makes them take a lot less damage from attrition and stuff like that. Just attrition, defensive ticks, attacking, just in general, you just lose less. I don't know what mechanic it is. I can never find anything. That's just how it is. So you're gonna take a lot less damage by splitting your units like this. And yeah, so you just want to continue to check your leaders if there's anything good. You also want to see that they have different ideologies, liberal, socialist, whatever. If they align with what your country is going into, they will have increased bonuses. This one is socialist. I won't be going into socialism, but 16% research is very good right now, so I will pick them up, even if I have to drop them later. You also want to be aware of these level 2s. They are a lot more expensive to implement into your country, so it's best not to, unless you absolutely have to. So if you press on this tab down here, you can see your diplomatic actions. So this is basically justifying on countries. There's a bunch of menus right here to check out. Here, truces. That tells you have a truce with. I haven't fought anyone, so I don't have any. But ideologies, America, democracy, the communism, socialism, all that. And then ideology. Oh, I already did that. Factions. There's no factions, obviously, but that's basically just a huge, basically one group of allies without alliances. It's just a group. So after you have your justification by pressing on this country and justifying a war goal, you then declare a war. You can't be inside the nation when you declare war, though, so you have to kind of just be aware of that. When you're fighting an AI country like Spain or whatever country, if they're just not, they don't have a player, you can check right here. You can just take out a nation. Their troops will naturally come and try to take you out. I'm just gonna send some of my troops to their islands because I don't really want to take them out. So here you can see that they're getting taken out. The units aren't going, okay, there was a little lag. But as your units stand in the same spot for a while, they begin to get this entrenchment bonus, which just gives them more combative like abilities. And you usually want to go for the bigger cities first. So I'm just gonna go straight for the capital. If you've ever seen a player, getting the capital is very good because it lowers your stability, manpower, economy, basically everything you need to run the country and fight a war. So taking the basically the core of their strategies is really good. So if you can capital rush, that's a good technique, but it doesn't always work. Somebody might have really good defenses, and you usually don't want to rush entrenched troops unless you can penetrate through it. So they do take longer to heal up as like separated forces, I think. But since they're still all split up, you press auto capture, and this will give you some techniques right here. You can recapture your own cities. So if Spain was attacking me and took these cities I could put recapture cities and it'll take them back. Capture all. Capture all is if you're fighting multiple nations. Let's say I'm at war with France and Germany. I press capture all. It'll capture. It'll go for both of their countries, not just one or the other. And then you know here you just press auto capture. I'm fighting Spain, so I press Spain, and then here they go. In the meantime, while this goes on, I'll explain some of the other research categories and show the military doctrines. So like I was saying, you go down to fortification, and the stalwart. Stalwart is very good. It allows your units to just have incredible defense. If you go to the military tab again and go to your military modifiers, you can check the individual modifiers of them, like how basically all of your troops get these bonuses. So with stalwart defense only and that military leader, I already have 430 defense and 160 attack, so the defense on these troops is very good. Their survivability. Here I've taken these lands. I'm not going to take them fully right here because I'm going to demonstrate something you can do in this game. Okay, so they're still taking that out, so that'll take a little bit longer. But yeah, another thing you can do, if you have the money for it, I would say go for it, is developing your cities. Developing your cities, basically, it's like a return investment. You put some money in, and then you will get more taxes out of the